one of the purposes of the podcast for sure is for us to not separate who we are in Christ from what we do. I know a lot of people probably know you
Exactly.
as the broker, as the entrepreneur, that started your own brokerage. But a lot of people maybe don't know that you're a person of faith, what your beliefs are, and all of that. So I would love to talk about that if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
So let's start with how did you start it in real estate? Tell us a little bit of your backstory.
Okay, so first, thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite. This is always fun. Um, I started my journey in real estate years ago in a timeshare company. I worked there in HR. I did marketing, and then from timeshare, I never wanted to get my real estate license or get into sales because I was a young mom, so I didn't trust commission-based salaries. And so I always wanted the security of getting a salary. And then from there, I did commercial real estate. I did condo conversions. Again, never did I get my real estate license, but I always worked on the back end. Either I was an HR manager or an HR director for these companies. And I also helped build out these communities. So I was just making sure that the real estate agents were aligned and construction and, that everybody was following the law, right? But with the real estate market crashed, a lot of people were let go and a lot of real estate agents didn't know what to do. I had to let myself go as I worked in HR because I wasn't needed anymore. So I knew that was coming. So I took some time off. Then I had two more babies to add to our family. And at that point I said, I don't know what to do. I told my husband, I don't know what to do. At the time I had three kids. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to call in if one gets sick. It's just not gonna work for me. So what am I gonna do? And I remember my husband was like, well, why don't you get your real estate license? And it's funny because when I was 21, I tried to get my real estate license and I passed the class, but I never went to get the state. I was so young and just so naive. I was like, oh, I passed the class. That's all I needed. So I'm celebrating that I passed the class, but I didn't do anything else. So at the time when he told me that, I was like, oh, the real estate market sucks. And I had promised myself I'll never get into real estate again because, I got laid off twice before the market crashed. So I was like, to me, real estate is not something to be trusted. So I thought. And I said, what, I'll get my real estate license when the market sucks. And I went and I got it. I passed it the first chance. I studied my butt off. It was challenging at the time. I had three kids. My dad was really sick. He passed away in 2016, so I got my license in 2014. So it was just like a really crazy time for me. But then I got it, and my friend at the time owned a real estate brokerage in Avalon Park, and she was like, "Hey, just come over here." And I'm like, "All right, I'll come." I never thought I could sell anything, so I just got it just because I've been in the industry for that long. I just never sold anything, and I never thought I could sell anything. I never
Okay.
thought I had any type of any sales in me. So I highly doubted myself for years.
Interesting. When I started real estate, I was the same way. I was like, real estate is very salesy, even though I worked in sales before and I thought myself, like, I know how to sell. But my brother in law is the one that kind of pulled me into real estate. And his thing was, this is really not what you think it is. It's not
Oh.
really so much of a sales job as it is of a relationship job, of being trustworthy. So it's really a long run kind of thing, not like a quick turn sell. So I had that same mentality. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to be good? You have to be like a social butterfly. I felt like I have to go to every single birthday party and talk to everybody, give them my business card. And I was like, that is so much pressure. Like, I don't know if I'm down for all of that. But it turned out to be totally not that. And even though, like you start like that, you also grow throughout the process. Now I don't care. I go talk to real estate to anyone. I mean, grocery store everywhere.
I think that um, it's definitely relationship based, but I do think that a good agent knows the art of sales because there's a lot that we have to deal with like objections and just the unknown. And so I think that if someone does not have the art of sales, it can be hard for you because in my opinion, right, I just don't think that every relationship can get you to the closing table.
I have trained agents that come from a salesy background, but their training is really rigorous. And unfortunately, I saw a pattern. Like it was
Yeah.
hard for them to do a real estate sale.
It's very aggressive. You gotta know the material. You've got 30 minutes to sell people to sign on the dotted line, you know? It's like they have a tour and yeah, so it's very different. But what I mean with sales, because I think there's good and bad in everything, but what I mean in sales is that you have to be able to be a closer. And, having a good relationship with somebody doesn't always help you be the good closer. And I think it's the art of sales, but I think the art of sales in a way where you're just trying to wheel people back into their main objective, which is I either need to sell, I need to buy, or these are my goals. And our job, right, is as a real estate expert is to bring them back in and get them back in because at the end of the day it is a sales job. But it's a mixture because then you can also become a therapist. So
Definitely, you're talking to humans. Sometimes you have to become everything. So, how did you went from, how long did you work on, just as a real estate agent before you decided to venture into having your own brokerage and doing your own?
I'm a little different, a little unconventional. So I got my license in 2014, and I want to say I was with a broker for about 3 years, maybe four, maybe 3 to 4, because I opened up my first real estate company in 2017.
I love it. Yeah, it definitely took me a lot longer. I had an amazing mentor,
Yeah,
and I honestly am able to
that's so good.
have gotten quick turn from like starting real estate to like starting to produce right away. Definitely because I had an amazing mentor and
So
I'm very
good.
blessed and very
That's so
grateful
good.
for
Yeah.
him. So I was very comfortable. Oh, there's a lot of great options. Like it's amazing sometimes to be under a big broker. You
Yeah.
have, things taken care of. There is amazing incentives. There is so many benefits. But there is also, if you're a person of faith, where
Yeah.
does God want you? Because we all have a different purpose for our lives, and we all have different people assigned to us for us to also
Yeah.
lead, just like somebody led us one day. How
That's
was
so
that for
good.
you? Were you scared to go on your own?
I It was interesting, because when I first got my broker license, I actually had no intentions of going on my own. So to me, it was just like, the next step, right? So I talked to my husband and he's like, let's just, my husband's a huge risk taker. And I like to analyze and strategize a lot more than he does. He's more of the like, let's just do it. He's got that attitude. If it doesn't work, we just get up and keep going. I'm like, well, if it doesn't work, then what's plan B? So we're a little different with that. So he just was like, let's just do it. And I'm like, you know what? All right, because these are my options right now. I really don't want to do any of them. So we might as well just, push forward. And we started from scratch. At the time when I opened and decided to go on my own, it was a time where there was a lot of companies, a lot of agents either going to EXP or converting to EXP as a brokerage. And again, I'm a little unconventional. It just wasn't in my playbook at the time. That's not what God had.
How important it is that for you, like to be in God's will, to definitely not go with the flow, but like go where God wants to lead you. And sometimes that is against the flow.
So it takes a lot of faith, right? Especially when all your friends and people that you trust, we're talking about the industry, people that I'm in the industry with that I learned from are doing certain steps, and then I'm like doing completely opposite. I'm being told that I'm gonna fail, and I'm being told that I'm not gonna make it, not my first year. It was a lot, it was very scary. We bought our first commercial spot in East Orlando. And then when we had our grand opening to actually officially bring out our company, COVID hit. Everybody was telling me, what are you doing? Are you crazy? So I'm like, Lord, what do you have me in right now? This is crazy. And honestly, every time we went to make a decision, when I pray and I know that God's leading me somewhere, it's because it gives me peace. So in the midst of all this chaos, I still felt peace. And that's when I knew, okay, this is from the Lord because through all this craziness I'm literally in the middle of, I'm losing friends, I'm gaining friends. I'm like, what am I doing? Am I nuts? I still felt peaceful in our decision. And that's how I knew that it was God's plan and it was not my plan at all. Yeah.
Everybody that we know of that has walked in obedience, who I think no one that has ever walked in obedience to what God has actually said, not had somebody tell them that that's a bad idea. I mean, look at Noah when he started to build the ark, everybody thought he was crazy, but then everybody thought, oh, look, I see now why. And,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Yeah.
100%. 100%. It's very lonely sometimes
Mhm.
because you're like, did I do the right thing? Again, we're, still in the
Mhm.
flesh, right? So you're like, did I do the right thing? Am I making a mistake? And it just, again, it
Mhm.
was a plan that God led us through,
Mhm.
and He gave me the grace to deal with it, to go through it, and to be okay with, the obstacles and the challenges we endured, and then when we opened our office in Lake Nona, that was another miracle because we were looking in this location and we're looking during COVID. I mean, who does that, right? Who
Mhm.
continues to do
Yes.
crazy things?
Mhm.
Jesus, because it's like, he puts it in our heart. My husband again, he found our location and it was literally sent from the Lord. He just it was so easy. When it's from the Lord, you just like he opens the door, you walk right through it. That's exactly how it was for us. We get this location literally handed over to us in one of the best plazas in Lake Nona. And it was all because
Mhm.
we did it trusting him during COVID. We literally got in the end of 2020. It was
Mhm.
just like, you need to just be still
Oh, there it is.
because everything you have, I gave you.
There it is.
So you need to just
Exactly.
be still because this ain't about
Yeah.
you. And so we give him all the glory because it really, really comes from him and only him. It doesn't matter how much you sell, it doesn't matter how much you're liked. None of that matters.
He's your provider when you know where it comes from. Because I have
That's
so
right.
many countless stories of clients just literally walking right into me and into my agents too. Like just opportunities that I know were set by the Lord. Like there was no
Mm-hmm.
way that I was not prospecting. I know how to prospect. I know how to do all the things. I was not prospecting. I wasn't wearing a company shirt. Just walk to me and there's a sale. And maybe it's happened to you too. Like I have this agent, she goes to
Yeah.
a new construction to do some marketing videos. And kid you not, she was not there walking in looking for anything, just doing some marketing videos. The cleaning lady that is cleaning this new construction community just literally approaches her. She doesn't know she's a realtor or anything and just starts asking her, how do I buy this house? And how do I
That's
do
so
this? And
great.
what it and this lady works in that community for like years. She knows the builders. She can literally walk to the office and ask for her
Yeah, it's so
questions.
great.
And that's how she had her first sale. And
That's so
just
great.
like that, so many of
That's
them.
so,
But for sure, that is such a peace when, he is
yeah.
your provider and whatever he leads to you, he would provide wherever you go.
Even when you don't
Yeah.
feel like it.
How do we store also like the people that God puts in our lives? In our case, like the agents that come into your brokerage, how does it look like to be a brokerage and a person of faith that, has all these agents that you are working with? And there might be a belief that we are just like in a transactional relationship with our agents, but we really, I
Sure.
feel like, at least in my experience, my brokers and the people that have had influence and leadership over my life have helped shaped and influence in many ways, not only
Hmm.
in my production, but in my mindset, in the way I think, in the way I see myself. And it's so amazing to, whenever you are
Yeah.
under somebody that sees you, if you have the mind of Christ, you're going to see others the way God sees them.
Well, I think that's being a leader, right? Is you want to help people in your company, in your under your umbrella, um, not only be a better professional, but you want them to be better. So I pray every morning for God to help me be a good leader. I ask him to always lead me first so I can lead others. And I don't believe in just, well, I'm not going to hire you because you're not Christian with Jesus, because I'm not better than nobody. And B, I would love for you to come work with me and partner with me. And guess what? I'm going to tell you that I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray with you. You know how a lot of us pray, God, use me. God, I want to be in ministry. God, I want to do this. God, I want to do that. And what we don't realize is that every day we're in ministry. Every single day we
Hmm.
have the opportunity to talk to others about God some way, somehow, or just by our actions.
Exactly.
So that's how I handle it, is by just being
Hmm.
myself and, letting God lead. Because at the end of the day, He's the one that's in control.
He's leading you to lead them, because there could be certain things that are not necessarily from God, that sometimes is where certain leaders draw from. Could be from pride, could be from ego. And what is leading them is also leading you when you are under the influence of whoever is you're allowing to, to lead you. Showing them the love of God doesn't necessarily always have to be with words. Sometimes it could just be with your actions, with the way that you handle yourself, with the way that you handle your obstacles,
That's it.
the things that you're overcoming. That is speaking for you before you even say
Absolutely.
a word. So, and I love that
Absolutely.
you said, because Jesus wouldn't close the door on anyone. On the contrary, he would open it. It's the whole reason he came.
He didn't close the door on me, so why would I do that to anybody else?
If you are looking to join a broker that is a woman of faith, if you want to be in a community where you're being fed and you're being led beyond the real estate knowledge, which Linda is full of, in Lake Nona or in the surrounding areas, reach out to Linda. We're going to put all her information so that maybe you can connect with her too.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for inviting me. It's always a
thank you.
pleasure and a blessing to have conversations with you. I've seen your growth from day
Thank you.
one, and I'm very proud that you took the leap of faith.
Mhm.
And I see that you opened up your brokerage. So continued blessings to you and your family and your husband with his amazing inspection company. I'm very proud of you guys.